Hello and welcome back to History of the United States Part 2 at Richland College. I am Kevin Ports, your professor, and as always, I am not in a classroom. What is going on this week in our class? It is time for our fourth source analysis essay. Some of you have made great progress in improving your essays over the first three assignments, and some of you I know will be making that improvement in Essay 4 by reviewing all the feedback I have given you and in the past essays and responding to it. Remember, by mastering these essays in accordance with the expectations I have given you, you'll be ready for any and all college essays down the road, all of which will no doubt be longer than one page. Perhaps you will thank me later. This week and next week, we are considering two of the three great existential threats faced by the United States throughout its history. By existential threats, I mean something that threatens the continued existence of the nation as a democracy. The greatest crisis of these was the American Civil War. The Great Depression of the 1930s, our subject this week, and World War II, the focus of week 12, next week, are the other two great existential crises in American history. At the core of all these crises was money. Southern planters during the Civil War period were willing to leave the Union rather than lose their source of free labor, slaves. During World War II, Germany and Japan sought to dominate the economic resources of the globe through military conquest. The Great Depression, of course, was the greatest threat of all to Americans' financial well-being and hence the ability to survive. During this period, a majority of Americans suffered catastrophic losses, the loss of jobs, savings, homes, one's dignity, and sense of self-worth. Bad economic times often empower demagogues, political leaders who seek support by appealing to the desires and prejudices of ordinary people rather than using rational argument. Demagogues typically employ bombastic rhetoric that entertains as well as misinforms. Historians would generally place Huey P. Long from Louisiana in that category. Long was the governor of Louisiana and then U.S. Senator. He planned to run for president in 1936 in the midst of the Depression, and he prepared to do so by offering the nation a cornucopia of economic reforms he believed would end the Depression. He did so in two speeches titled "Every Man a King" and "Share Our Wealth," that he delivered in multiple variations. Long focused like a laser on the inequities of income and wealth among the American people, a circumstance where a small percentage of the people owned a vast majority of the nation's wealth. This same issue often dominates the news cycles today. I want to know what you think about Long's economic proposals. Would any of them be effective in equalizing our nation's wealth among its people if implemented today? When you go into eCampus to begin the source analysis for assignment, you will find I have provided online extracts of Long's two great speeches as well as a 4-minute video of him delivering a portion of one of them. As you prepare your essay, let me mention one other thing that makes Huey Long so interesting: the nature as a man from Louisiana. Did you know that sociologists often divide the U.S. into 11 different cultural regions? You'll find a map image posted in eCampus within the source analysis for material that shows these 11 regions. Some of them you know that are quite large: New England, referred to as Yankeedom, and the Pacific Northwest, the left coast. The smallest of these 11 regions is in Louisiana, south of I-10, called New France. It includes Baton Rouge, the capital of Louisiana, and of course, New Orleans. I lived in this enclave of unique culture for 10 years before coming to the Dallas area, and I loved it. South Louisiana is a fascinating historical mix of culture, gender, class, race, and ethnicity that you must visit one day. Huey Long, in all that he was, is a stunning example of all the good and perhaps the bad that you will find there. So, check out Huey Long, The Great Depression, and let me see your best in Source Analysis 4. Questions or concerns, I would love to hear about them. Consider hitting the YouTube like and subscribe buttons. That is it. I'm out of here, and deuces!